God. This is going to be an upset, it looks like. Dad's not doing so well health-wise between August 23 and August 2024. He is shocked. This is almost like a futuristic thing that's happening. The future of the royal family. Somebody who isn't taking it anymore. 8th house is revenge. He's getting some kind of revenge. And hello, everyone, and welcome to Royal Revelations. I'm Val Evans. Thanks to all who are watching tonight. We've got some new subscribers and visitors, and a special shout out to the valedictorians. Tonight, we review the charts for King Charles and also the tarot cards, and we'll find out clues about Charles's family life and the future of the royal family. So thanks for hitting the like button, and let's get started. Hello, everyone. Allison, Natalie, Shauna, Glow with the Flow. Susie is here. Nice to see you. I haven't seen you in some time. And so many others who are binge watching the content. I really appreciate it. Shauna, nice to see that you made it tonight. Marion, always good to see you. And I hope I didn't miss anyone. Lisa and Astronaut Kim. I love that name. So welcome, everyone. And let's get started. I'm going to just do a couple of slides and we'll do some cards. And then we've got some updates that I saw on the news. First of all, I'll be doing another show on the Duchess on Thursday. So that'll be 7 p.m. Eastern Time. I hope I remember that. I'm going to have to write that down. Eastern Time. And just to refresh your memory, remember when we said how this chart really showed when the announcement would come out about Prince Charles? It was around February 4th, which is when her house changes, that her house is changed on the 4th because she was born on the 4th. And so it seems to me she might have had some kind of notice, maybe on February 4th, that father-in-law is not doing so well. And one of the things, and there's a reason I'm bringing this up because I brought this up in the last two shows. This is Saturn means a father. Retrograde means a weak father. It basically means weak. And then there is an opposition here with Mercury. So it shows that there is a freeze in communications. And remember, this is Meghan's chart. As far as if we wanted to see where Harry was, we would look to Jupiter and to Neptune. And it seems as if there's not too much of a block, although the sun can also represent a father. So there is one little block over here, and it's somebody in power in Leo terms. I'm going to say that's probably another marker for the father. And so I think the main thing, though, here is that in her world, which is the first house, Mercury is opposing Saturn, which means no speak. All right, now I'm going to go over to this headline here. And I just happen to see this. Harry would have gladly accepted reunion with William, but instead spends the night in a London hotel. And after a 45-minute meeting with cancer-stricken King Charles, Duke set to return to LA as Prince of Wales briefly resumes public duties amid Kate's illness. So it was a cold reception, and we could see that based on the chart, based on Meghan Markle's chart. She's staying away, and Harry's getting a cold reception. So that is what's happening for her. And so in this show, we look at the royals, we look at crime, and then we tie it back to how you can use some of these markers or signatures in a chart to help you understand yours. Yours meaning your personal chart, could be any chart, could be a solar return chart, which would show predictions for your year, or more longer term transits that are affecting you in a long term way, which might be your progressed chart. Okay, so why don't we do a card here? So much is happening right now. Everybody is just in a complete chaotic state, I think, over in England. And the public is confused. What does this mean? Is Prince William coming in? And there are just so many questions, so many questions. What's going to happen? Now, Prince William is resuming his public duties. Is there something that Prince William is going to do differently with his duties over the next 3 months? How about that? And oh, justice. Got a justice card. So, I mean, I would say that it would be a yes, but also, what do you think could be justice? Now, this is Libra, so could be relationships, um, could be the courts, could be meeting with high level judges. I don't know. What do you think? So, yeah, that's an interesting one. Okay, so now I'm going to go over to the chart again, and let's take a look at Prince Charles' Profection year. Now, this is something you can do, and the numbers inside the wheel show the ages you were when you were in this Profection year. This year, it's in the fourth house. And there are a lot of people who can relate to this because the fourth house shows you your challenge. This is your assignment for this year. And Charles really wanted to be focused on the 10th house, which would be government. It would be just being that figurehead, wanting to maybe make change and really start to enjoy his reign, if you can enjoy a reign. And instead, he has to focus on the fourth house, which can be putting one's affairs in order, dealing with the house and fixing it. This highlight of your year shows what you have to fix that year. What's the challenge? And the next year, his next solar return year, will be in the fifth house, and that will be family. So he's got a lot of home and family stuff happening in the next 2 years. And it seems like he could pretty much forget all of the ideas. It's kind of strong for me to say that, but it seems like that from the Profection chart. Oops. I'm going to share it this time. Oh, there we go. So, Lisa James, you say the card has to do with law and lawyers, okay? And you think William will be king by the end of the year. All right. And let me fix this setting. Hang on one second. Let's see. Make sure. Okay. All right. Just wanted to check something. Thank you, Chloe, with the flow. There's the chart. There's that fourth house Profection. And Angel D, I remember my brother being very resentful that I got to go back to my family abroad while he was left to keep an eye on my father. Maybe an even bigger wedge between William and Harry. Oh, that's a good point. Yeah, more jealousy. You're going to see jealousy as a common denominator for people who are in a monarchy because it's eighth house, and eighth house represents jealousy. And, even my mother was saying the other day, she's like, well, the public, they need to do away with the monarchy. She'd hate if I told you what she said, but she said that the public is jealous of the monarchs, and so true. So more jealousy. It's crazy. Hey, serendipity. And so, yeah, law, lawyers, that's a good point. And okay. Angel, do you said this is triggering you a little? Yes. Yeah. A lot of us. Hi, Wanda. Nice to see you. And Jen. Oh, Jen's here. Yay. A lot of us have gone through this and are going through this. So we can really understand, if anything, we can really understand what this family's going through. Penny, nice to see you. So here we're going to go to the next slide and see here. All right, these are King Charles's current transits. And, you're going to pull your chart at any given day and get a chart like this. It is always going to look like some kind of a mess because you've got tons of planets, transit planets, which would be the orange. And then you've got your birth planets there. And here are the orange planets. And these orange symbols, they're on everybody's chart exactly the same, okay? But our natal planets are different and they're being activated sometimes by some of these transits. So what we do is try to figure out what's being activated. And I saw a couple of things in his transit chart. One of the things that I look for when I first go into a natal chart, and especially when somebody's telling me they're having some kind of major problem that has happened, that keeps happening or is more long term, is I will look at the outer planets. I look at Uranus and look at Pluto, and I'll look at Neptune. That's the first thing. And then I'll also look at Saturn. And Saturn is always going to, I shouldn't say always, but when it is in poor aspect, it's always going to give bad news, make you feel sad, make you feel down, make you slower, et cetera, et cetera, all that Saturnian stuff. So look how his natal Saturn is opposing Transit Saturn. And that's happening right now. So it's like when that happens, everything stops. That's it. You can try to do whatever you want, but you're coming to a halt. Now, Saturn is going to be, now it's going to come back during a retrograde, but it should actually come off of this opposition in probably this month, I think. So it should be okay. It could be worse when it comes to Saturn. But notice how Uranus is squaring Pluto. Now, I have to give you one of my crazy thoughts again, but go back to the Diana days. And in the first house, that shows what people see you as. And even when they were newlyweds, people would talk about how he would get jealous, or he would even say when he was speaking that he was jealous, ha ha ha, he'd be joking around. But he truly was jealous of the attention. Well, that's going to be a Plutonian energy. And so it's in the first house for pretty much everybody to see. It's part of his identity. And of course, Pluto is an eighth house ruler. Now, then, fast forward so many years, and then another person comes in on the scene, and it was said that King Charles was jealous once again. And so you can see that in that first house of his identity, of what people see him as somebody who, he might be a good guy, but he has to deal with some jealousy issues because of that. It's his turn to come in and be in the spotlight. So now Meghan leaves. Diana's long gone. There's really nobody to exert that energy towards. he's not really that jealous. But what does Pluto represent? It means the prostate. So now he's getting, instead of that energy, that jealousy, envy energy, he's actually getting more of a, sexual organ type of problem. And it is aspecting, it's in a quincunx to some planets in a sixth house of health. Okay. And it's uncomfortable. It is scary, especially with Uranus, and it is squaring Pluto. This is his first house. This is his identity. This is him just having those Uranian types of feelings of upset and shock. It's absolute shock. So it is, I'm sure it's very hard for him. And so I'm not going to really look at Neptune, but I noticed Uranus and Saturn are really causing a big problem there. And for a lot of Libras, you're going to notice that if you have Libra or if you have planets in Libra, the South Node is a purge. It's to say goodbye. And there's also sadness. And so it's going over his current wife, which is Venus. And so it shows that his wife is very sad and thinks that maybe she might have to let him go. So that's a feeling that's coming over him. Okay. This is his solar return chart for November 14th. Some interesting stuff here. I'm going to pull a card and then I'm going to come back over. I know. Everybody feels differently when stuff like this happens. It just puts things in perspective. Yes. Yeah. He was very jealous of Diana. She was much more charismatic than he was. And you know what? It didn't help. It's almost like, he was put into this energy just like the boys are. And people pick them over the other and right in front of them. And you saw in The Crown and other reports that Charles and Diana would be together in throngs of people and they would say, get out of the way, I want to see Diana. And so that was that energy he would have to deal with. And it was really in his face. So, and I think anybody would be jealous. That's a possibility. And if I remember, I'm going to go into that in a little bit. I almost I'm kind of on the fence about talking about the whole Diana thing because I was almost about to draw a chart with the personal name asteroids because I wanted to see where Camilla was. I drew it before, but it was a long time ago, where Camilla was and where Diana is in his chart. But, I was like, I don't want to add any more energy to that. I'll talk about it a little bit, but I don't want to focus on it, especially right now. I'm going to do a Taylor Swift part 2, by the way, but go to that show that I just did. It's pretty interesting. Yes. Yep. It seems like he was in the shadow of the women in his life. That is really a good point. The Queen and then Diana. Yes. And they cast a long shadow. That is so interesting. I never even thought about it that way. With all of this chaos and trouble with King Charles, what was his destiny in his whole life? What was he supposed to experience in this life if he couldn't have a long reign as king? What was his destiny? I feel nervous about shuffling this one. I want it to be a good one for him. Okay. What was his destiny? Oh gosh. Reverse Queen of Pentacles. Okay. Not basically, from what I'm reading from that, not being able to maybe reach the height of your potential. So it was a reversed Queen of Pentacles. This is what it looks like. Astronaut King, I think his destiny was to have William with Diana. Okay, there you go. I would agree with you there, was to marry Diana. Hey, Shelley, nice to see you. Hasn't he made environmental changes or awareness? Yes, he has. Uh, so, and there is a lot of that environmental. Maybe it was to address the environment, and maybe the environment was upside down. Really, it was reversed, and he was supposed to work on that. So that's a lot of Taurus energy. Yeah, that's so interesting. A lot of people have an idea of what his purpose was. Um, to create drama. No, I don't think so. He didn't create it. It was really the press that created it. Okay, so now I've got his solar return, and I know you're interested in this because it helps you understand your solar return chart. And the way you pull that is go to AstroSeek, pull your birth chart. In the right-hand corner, there's a little link that says solar chart, and you click on the year that you want. So if you were born last year and you haven't had your birthday yet, you're still in the 2023 chart. And just like Charles. So he just had his birthday, November 14th. So we're going to do the 2023 chart. And his chart started on November 14th. So we will assign Mercury to be his ruling planet this year. And whenever you have moon next to you or aspecting you very strongly, that's famous. And in Sagittarius, that's foreign lands. So famous throughout foreign lands here. And that would be a real simple way to look at that chart. But that's November 14th. Then we go to December 14th. And then January 14th. And isn't it interesting that between January 14th and February 14th, there would be a big shock, a big change, a big turn of events, including his announcement about his cancer treatment and Denmark's Queen, Queen Margaret, Europe's longest serving monarch. And her announcement came out on the 14th. So that would almost color, in a sense, his month. Now, if you're also going to look at more detail, like you could look at a lot of detail here. Like, what are all these planets doing in here between January 14th and February 14th? Well, you can probably do an analysis and see a lot of things. What you would do is you would go to each planet and see what each one represents. So the moon represents his friends, might be talking a lot to friends. We have the sun, and that represents, isn't that interesting? The sun represents his hidden enemies this year. And his hidden enemies are right on Regulus, the fixed star for the kingdom, the courtiers, and the court. So the sun is right there, and they're angry. Look at the Mars right next to them. So there are some hidden enemies that are at war right now. I want to know what this is about. And look at how his hidden enemies are. I mean, it's an earthquake between all of them. They don't know what to do with themselves because they're like, we're going to have to move to the suburbs now. We can't afford Cotswold. Like, where are we going to go? And are they going to still have a job? They're very, very worried. And in Scorpio, maybe there's some jealousy. There could be some betrayals too, where people are throwing each other under the bus, and Meghan and Harry at war with the royal family. I know, third house. The timing is very interesting. At least he made it. I never thought he would, honestly. Nadia, to create drama, he sure has. Uh, and I thought it was interesting that he waited so long to become king, and maybe, and I said this in the show a couple hours ago, that Queen Elizabeth too in keeping him from the throne, maybe she prolonged his life because a lot of times it can be a bad omen to be on the throne. Okay, just checking. So health. And one of the things I wanted to show you too is when all of this stuff was coming out and I was preparing this show, I decided I was just going to draw a card. And this is the card I got. So, 10 of Swords, and meaning an abrupt ending. So I was like, oh my God. And of course, we wouldn't want that. And the ending doesn't necessarily mean death, it means an abrupt ending could mean an abdication, could mean a break from the throne. And so this is just a seismic shift of some sort that's happening between January and February. So now we're coming over. Oh, and I also wanted to add, okay, wait a minute. Okay. You want to look at the Lord of that house too, just to get more depth. And so Pluto is in the fifth house. So it's going to be family matters that's going to be dealt with between January and February. There's going to be jealousy again, more jealousy. And I mean, I'm thinking Pluto's probably the prostate, and his family are all concerned about, his healing. So that could be part of it. But remember that we're still in here, we're still in this house right now. And so what's happened already? His sun, which is represented by Saturn, is trying to get over here. But he's kind of having a trouble there. There's a lot of anger. And remember the third house, this is the communication house. So he is going to be doing a lot of communicating, but not with the suns. The suns are cold. That's what the fifth house. Don't expect anything from the suns this year because of Saturn. And in a square and an opposition, look at how, there's Black Moon Lilith. In an opposition, nope. And there was one chart I saw that looked like they were coming together. I think it was Meghan Markle's for something, but it might just be for, I don't know, some kind of ceremony or something. I don't know. But this is bad, Saturn. And we don't like Saturn, or we don't like Capricorn or Aquarius for the fifth house, because usually it means either sadness or disruption. Now, speaking of the sixth house, disruption, and this is going to be particularly emphasized between March, April, May and June, May 14th to June 14th. Why? Because this is where May 14th is. This goes to June 14th. And we look at the ruler of the sixth house of work. And again, Uranus. So I'm expecting that in March, there's going to be some kind of announcement. And then also May. May looks like it's going to be very difficult. And you also have a lot of doctors who are talking this year. You've got Neptune, and it is trining. It's weird how it's trining the hidden enemies. Unless the hidden enemies are doing something undercover. They know the secrets. They know the secrets. This is in Camilla's house, by the way. They might be trying to talk to her for some reason. Now, by the way, speaking of Camilla, she's going to be the seventh house this year. And seventh house is ruled by Neptune and Jupiter, and she's also Venus. So she's 3 planets. Woo, it's very complicated for her. And Neptune, both planets, Jupiter and Neptune, show, a weakness, not being able to do what she wants to do. And obviously, we know why. Venus is right in front of Charles. And so she's taking care of him. They are talking with friends, those friends that I was talking about. Lots of talking with friends, maybe assuring them it's going to be okay. With notables, with celebrities, I like to look at the moon. I look at the moon because that's what the public is talking about. And sure enough, right as everything is being announced, this is the public moon is talking and in publications. So this would be a clue that something was a buzz in between January and February. And it looks like they're not getting, for whatever reason, it says there's a square to the part of fortune here. So it looks like they don't like somebody. Oh, you know what? They don't like that the boys aren't talking. That's what it is. Or they can't see something that's going on. The 12th house is something that is hidden or secret. So when you have a square there, it's like there's something going on there, but we can't see what it is. So there's some stuff we don't know when it comes to the family and the kids, kids meaning William and Prince Harry. So the 6th house between, and by the way, change in work. Yeah, change in work is going to be March, April, May, starting in May. And not to say that he isn't going to change before then, but something kind of significant might be coming out in May. And so we also have Uranus way up here too. And this is the 9th house. This is a shock to the publications, to courts, to the international community. And so I would say that this is probably the biggest thing that would happen to him in his solar return year. And you can also, let's see, this would be May, June, July. This is August 14th. Could be another shock that comes in because that's where Uranus is. But that's August 14th. If you're going to look at your own chart and you want to look and see how your career's doing, you're going to look at the MC. The Lord of the MC is Mercury, which rules Gemini. So you go down here and you can see that his wife, which is traditionally Venus in charts, is helping him with his career. She's doing a lot for him. I'm sure he has probably a lot of family members doing things for him, but she's definitely right there helping him with whatever he needs. And you can see that there is a square here to part of fortune. So overall, it shows that he is not able to make much success out of his career this year. I got to say that something that I've noticed with people who get sick, there's Black Moon Lilith around. And in this case, it's in Virgo, which can show health care or health. So another note, if you're looking at how you feel, I really feel like this is something that it's almost like a foreign body or something. Now Saturn usually represents Cancer, but with Black Moon Lilith, it's something that doesn't belong in your body. The trine means something that's easy, and sometimes it's not always good because it can show when people can easily get to you. Like if you have a hidden enemy and they have a key to your apartment because they live in the next room, that would be a trine. They can easily come to your door or talk to you. So not always positive, but for the most part, I see that they are. Marion, you said Val, can William take away Archie and Lilibet titles if he elevates soon? Very good question. Let's see. Let's ask Tarot. The future king takes revenge. There's some revenge that goes on with this family. What are they going to do? Will William take away the titles of Archie, Lilibet? Well, let's just say Archie and Lilibet. I don't think they could. They're so cute. Okay. Uh, oh, that's weird. Did I not? I swear I did shuffle the cards, but I'm getting Queen of Pentacles reversed. So that seems like a no, right? That's what I think. Okay. And now I'm going to go to the chart. Oh, hey, Niners girl. I haven't seen you in a while. Uh, yes, I do. As a matter of fact, you reminded me. You can go to this site if you're interested in classes. I put classes up every few weeks and also a personal reading or a solar return reading. I've got a bunch of them that you can choose from. So check it out. Thank you for asking. Kind of scary. A lot of astrologers were saying that King Charles having a coronation under eclipse was a bad omen. It means that he wouldn't be king long. I guess they were right. Yeah, absolutely. And they planned the coronation during Mercury retrograde. So there was a lot of, especially with the eclipse. Eclipse, you never start anything with during an eclipse because it's basically like planning to build a house in the middle of a flood. You don't want to do it. So, could Camilla take over as queen? That would actually, that's a question that's stemming from what I was saying with the chart that she was helping him with his career. Will Camilla take Charles's position? If she did, it looks like she's battling a lot of ravens, a lot of birds. This is very Scorpio. So this could be some of the energy that's coming in where everybody wants something of somebody else's. Well, it's not reversed. So I think it could be a yes. Would not be good if Camilla was queen reversed. She will want the job. Yes. I think she does want the job. Obviously, she wants the job. She could be trying to steal the throne. Do you think that's stealing the throne? 7 of Swords? Yeah, exactly. Maybe pushing her, not helping her. Camilla is a queen consort. No, she can't. No, it will be the Prince of Wales, not Camilla. She is not queen, whatever. Princess Anne is a counselor of state. She would be one of his stand ins. Okay. But, sometimes in these moments, rules can be broken and sometimes things are done secretly. So I'm just saying, maybe not in an official capacity, but she could be holding the pen, perhaps. Angel D, you're saying William. Okay. I thought that she was made like they said she was queen consort, but didn't they change her to queen? Or is it just officially queen, but really queen consort? I don't know. I'm confused. If something happens to William, then Harry could. Then she can bring her and Charles' son. She gave up for the adoption. Oh my God. We're going to need to do a whole show on that one, I think. Um, yeah, I think so too. And just show you quickly the yod. All right, so here's the yod. And here is the North Node. This is what you get. You get something eighth house related. Well, sometimes it can be an inheritance, but it can be something that symbolizes the eighth house. And then the South Node is what you leave behind, which is it is in Libra. That's a relationships, and also financial stuff. So it really seems like just a shocking end. But last summer we had all been talking about it. Like this does not seem like a good thing. It doesn't seem like it has legs. This is a wife, but you know that Neptune represents a ghost. So it shows Diana's ghost, and it's very strong on his fourth house. So he had to deal with, in a sense, her and her likeness, and she was all around, and sons were talking about her and thinking about her and hailing her and, you know, dedicating things to her. And it was a lot, that sextile to Pluto. and a lot of ghosts, let's just say. Thought it was interesting how his mom is Mars in his chart. And well, it's Mars and it's also the moon. Okay, moon is always mom. Now, moon in Taurus is a rich mom. Next to North Node, really wealthy mother. And third house is siblings. This is Andrew. Andrew's here. At the end of her life, look what would happen. Andrew would bring her down. Siblings, I would say that's probably Andrew. And it would be a sex scandal with that Scorpio. South Node is despair, despair of a child, despair of his brother that brought her down. But she had a couple of other things that kept her up at the top, a point of Thales, and also that grand trine. So, that was one thing. It's typical to have something like that. And then you have other people helping you just bring you back to the top. But his mom would certainly be seen up there. She had a career and also Mars. So Mars and very powerful trining. I mean, this is a monarch right here. This is a queen. So she was a queen. But it makes me wonder if she was like angry or something because of, not to say that all Aries are angry, but I mean, could have a lot to do with all the soldiers and things that have to do with the military, maybe. Okay. Giving lots of awards during her. I mean, my God, how many wars happened during her life? Now, this is King Charles' progressed chart. Look at that. Now, the progressed chart is your chart now. So, your birth chart now. This is where everything is. And this means change. It means basically, it means a divorce, but it means to change. So, this means he is changing his career. So, to get more information, we're going to look at the MC in Gemini, which of course is ruled by Mercury. And Mercury in his progressed chart is retrograde. Very weak, very weak. And then on top of it, it's changing. The good news is for him is that there is something here. Well, first of all, part of fortune is on his ascendant. So he was able to ascend to the throne. He is on the throne. But let's see here. Well, Mercury is like really conjunct Mars. So it's almost like the family is fighting about his career right now, fighting about things, the future again, future is Aquarius of the royal family, fifth house is family. Yet, also in his progressed chart, it is ruled by Uranus. So the family changes along with his career. So interesting that the same energy that is basically lording over his family is the same energy as his career. They're both coming down. They're both very weak right now. Really lots of it's just a war. And also Uranus represents sun. Whoa, look at that, fifth house in Aquarius. The sun ascends, changes to sun. Oh, I just got the goosebumps. Oh my God. That is nuts. That's true. Yep. Serendipity husband has moon in Taurus. Both sons are Taurus. Ex-wife, mother was a Taurus. Wow. Well, Taurus can be really good. It can show a lot of wealth, a lot of luxury, and good interest in the environment and food, cooking. So many good things about Taurus. Susie, you're a Gemini. The Queen saw many wars. Yep. Granddaughter is a Gemini, Darlene. And what's this? Yeah. Yeah, I don't think he wants to. I hope there's a separate part of heaven, not to make a joke out of it. She saw more than anyone wearing a crown probably in the history of civilization because she was 100. Who is this? Who was 179 years old? If you're saying Queen Elizabeth II, it was pretty amazing. And she had Saturn in her birth chart. She had Saturn in the 10th house. That shows a very long career. Okay. We're going to make a note of that. Taurus. Lots of Tauruses in here. That's so interesting. Marion, she said it. Step down this year. There you go. Yep, I agree. Marion's my psychic advisor. She says that I'm like a Ford pickup truck, which is true. You just got to keep going. But yes, I think so. I think he's going to step down this year. A couple of pretty big months for him. May, July, big months for everybody. But that May with the Saturn there, that's like a stop. So seeking serenity, that's funny. In the sign of Gemini twins. And so interesting because he's got two sons. Would you say they looked alike? I mean, they kind of do. That would be a carbon copy. Two sons, two divorced sons, Or, let me see this here. I don't know. I was just going to say who's who in here. A lot of famous people, although a lot of people that we know. But this is really futuristic stuff here. I can't put my finger on it. This is his progressed chart. And Pluto is the prostate. So that is the problem here. It's opposing, the family, if that's a good way to put it. But and also power. Pluto, an opposition with Pluto is having power issues, especially in Leo. A lot of strong Leo energy there. But there is something that looks like it's helping. And this is, it doesn't look like it's helping that much because of retrograde, but it's the first house. It's him. He's the one that he's playing therapist. How about that? Neptune is a therapist. It's a doctor. Now it also shows he has a lot of doctors around him. And, but I wonder if there's some therapy happening. And, this is Camilla, and she's like, "Oh, I'm not interested in therapy." She'll read a book, but he is doing something, or maybe even acting as therapist himself with his family, and it seems to be helping. He seems to be in neutral from just as a spectator seeing that. And let's see. Saturn represents the fifth house and a little bit of the fourth house. And it's in the 12th. So it's weak and it's really gone. It's disappeared. It's very difficult. So the other thing we can do is look at the little degrees in these cusps to see the beginning and the end of certain phases. It doesn't mean the end of a family when it ends. It's just a different phase. Of course, in this case, Very well might, but we have a couple of degrees left for the 4th house. So that means he's getting to the end of something that has to do with his home. Um, just a few degrees left there. And then in the 5th house, he just started Aquarius, like a couple of years ago, and that was the upsets. So things pretty much happened starting in 2018, and that was more or less when the 5th house started going into Aquarius. So that was around the first introductions of Meghan and the marriage and all of that. And let's see where the wives are. Okay, so if this is King Charles, let's look at the wives. This is the 5th house of children. So we're going to look at the 7th house. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And this is the 7th house. Yep. The wives are having trouble with all of this stuff. The 5th house is chaotic, and it's like an electrical current in a sense because Aquarius is like really high up. It's also fluctuating. It's just back and forth, and there's shocks, and it's very hard for them. So, and it shows that they both could have some power as princesses, but especially Meghan here, because I'm saying Meghan because I'm seeing that big red opposition there to Meghan. Now, the planet that represents the wives is the sun. So they are in there. So it's just a big power play. Huge, huge power play. And Descendant is in right at the very last degrees of Pisces, and that is touching sheet, which is a tragedy. So this can be representative of Camilla. Camilla's right in front of him here in Neptune, and also Jupiter. So in both cases, very disadvantaged, not able to get what she wants. But she does have looks like she does have some allies within the family. The family likes her, and she is able to. This is really power. Look at that. That's pretty amazing. The family wants power. This is the throne. And look to the 7th house. This is Camilla. She gets the power. She might help a little bit with the power with them, or maybe they're supporting her at least right now. But definitely playing a big role, that Camilla. Wonder what she'll do. You wonder what she actually does behind the scenes. Like, I don't know. And there's no laws she's passing, but Jesse, you're saying no doubt King William would move to remove their titles should his dad pass and he ascends the throne. I gotta say, I might agree with that, knowing the jealousy that is really a common denominator in this family. Yeah. He met only briefly with Harry today and left him to go with Camilla. Okay, so yes, and we saw them in the car. So then he went to Sandringham. Yeah, well, here's the thing. When somebody's sick, and especially when somebody's getting treatment, you don't want to activate any stress. You just want to keep everything at a distance. Anything that might upset you, it's going to hurt your health. So you don't want to be near somebody for a long time that's caused you pain. Marion, King Charles can do more of what he wants, not as king. Well, he would have to give it all to William. Hmm. Okay. Yeah, physical therapy drugs. I don't know what those are either. But yeah, therapy is kind of strong there in his chart in that first house. So, but amazing, amazing progress chart. I mean, when you've got Uranus up at the top there, oof, that is a change right there for all to see. And I would love to know more about Gemini. And keeping in mind, remember Kate's, if you saw Kate's show, Kate's prediction, her MC is also in Gemini. So Gemini is where people talk. People are talking about the change. And I was talking about holding little kids, little babies, because that's what Gemini represents. Uh, it can mean cars, future cars, electric cars. Uh, Weird that King Charles would have the same type of chart as Kate. So, meaning that her MC is in Gemini. All right. Now, here's something. Oh, this is with the aspects. Oh, yeah, this isn't pretty. If you don't want the full truth, don't add the aspects. So, this is, the change. This represents the suns. And look at the big T square. This is a stuck. They are stuck. And that's going to be there for a while. With Black Moon Lilith, this is kind of evil, just evil feelings. Like, I don't want to have anything to do with him. I don't care if he, you know, gets hit by a bus or whatever. Like, it's just bad. And there's no success. He can't make any success. They're all at a standstill right now. And it's just going to take time. That's the only thing you could say. Now, it does show Uranus is trining the south node in the second house, and that can show one of the brothers leaves. Okay, he says goodbye to the money, you know? So that's one thing. And another one is saying hello to the money. This is just about in Taurus now. So that's neat. That's good for William, I guess, because he's getting money. North Node in Taurus. It's a good thing. Means saying hello. It means something that's coming in. And definitely eighth house, that would be inheritances are going to the kids, to one kid anyway. Okay. I thought this was interesting. The UK solar return. This is the new chart. And I got the information from Jessica Adams. I like her website. And that's an astrologer. And so this is the new chart, and this is the solar return for the UK 2024. And that chart starts on January 31st. So January 31st, February 3rd, well, we could just say February 31st, just to keep it simple. But then March 30, whatever, April, end of May, end of June, end of July. July looks like a very tough month for the UK. And remember, this is the end of the month. So notice how this was the time frame with the UK, in the UK, that the big announcement of Charles happened. So Moon is the public, and the South Node is despair, saying goodbye. They don't want to say goodbye. So you see that T square there. That means to be stuck. And so who else doesn't want to say goodbye? The family. The family is fighting Mars, Mercury. Now it could be this could be the family, and the fourth house is really like the House of Commons, that could be the case. And so it's shaking that house up as well. Fifth house, Unbelievable. It's in Aquarius. It means a family change. And family is, it's like the earthquake sometimes. Um, but there are some things that are positive, I think, with it looks like the family's got things under control and some upsets there, but all in all, there's a trine to Uranus. It looks like if something has to happen, it's going to happen fast. And that 10 of swords that we were seeing there in the beginning of the show, that is an abrupt change. So I think we're really going to see some serious, serious change by the summertime. Okay. Oh, and I guess I have some notes here. Uh, so Venus rules the UK this year and it looks okay, except for Black Moon Lilith there. There's this is the community. So there could be some problems with the community being, I don't know, all of the UK. I don't know what that is. Social media, hopes and dreams. That's what it is. It's hopes and dreams. And so the UK is, I, I don't know. I guess it's hard to read these things, especially with this as part of the grand trine, because, well, this is the chart ruler. Jupiter rules the third house. This is what people are talking about. And okay, again, the 11th house, the future, talking about the future and who is going to be maybe leading the future, also talking about health matters, the future of, somebody's health. They would be talking about. And let's see what else here. Um what would rule that first month, which is the month we're in? It's going to be Venus. And it's, squaring. It's in this big T square. So you're getting half and half this year for the UK. You're still getting a T square. People are sad in the UK this year. And yet there's some other things that are happening. Something really quick is happening. Uh, it looks like something with technology is being developed, but it scares me because Black Moon Lilith would be like a robot that isn't good for the country. Public despair, already got that. Revolutionaries, yes. So these are the revolutionaries. Aquarius is revolutionaries. So there's a lot of people who are thinking in a forward way that are making some progress this year. Uh, yeah. So you've got like a bunch of these old people here in Capricorn, and you've got the sun in Aquarius. And so now the sun's always going to be in Aquarius for these solar returns. I mean, for this solar return. But we have a lot of people here who just want tradition. So that's really that's going to be part of that big fight. There is what's going to be new and what's going to be old. What are we going to get rid of? And yeah, Black Moon Lilith. Um, yeah, it would be in Taurus here. Taurus making money. So something's happening there. Other people's money could be an exchange of some sort that's being created. So, okay. And yeah, I think that's pretty much it. It's just, we pray for King Charles and for Prince William and for Prince Harry, and we hope they can get along. It doesn't look like it's going to happen for quite a while. And Harry's going to just finally throw up his hands, I think. But they are going to need him. Let's pull a card for that. Is the royal family going to need Harry for something in, I guess, in the next year. Let's take a look at that. Good point. I like it. I like how you think. Oh, hi, Fern Fitness. Libras are good friends, but sometimes I have to help them stand up for themselves more. Yep, we're wishy-washy. And, that comes from having Capricorns around me because they always like to, be right. So you always have to let them be right. And so you never really have like, you let people kind of have their way, which, I mean, you know, it makes for an easy life. I watched Diana and Charles' wedding, Sarah and Andrew, Edward and Sophie's wedding, and William and Catherine. I saw all of them. I didn't see Edward and Sophie's wedding. I don't know where I was on that one. The blessings and curses of being a part of a monarchy. As an outsider, it is just surreal to imagine. On the inside, I wouldn't want to imagine. It's funny that the eighth house does represent curses and the monarchy. So wouldn't surprise me. Now, what is, will the royal family need Harry for something and then change their mind in the next year? All right. Looks like no. Nope. That's the Ace of Cups. Yep. Go do your own thing. We don't want you. I almost disagree with that card. Oh, hi, Bruiser Bites. Nice to see you. William has no reason to be jealous of Harry. Harry is a jealous one, in my opinion. Well, except what would happen? See, we don't really know how Prince William feels about all of that pomp and circumstance. And I know he's trained and stuff throughout his childhood, but thinking about his brother just hanging on the beach with his family and, his wife adoringly looking at him and, and they remember, William and Catherine love celebrities too. So they live in celebrity land and get to have dinner with, Mick Jagger or whatever, whoever lives out there, Sting. So, and I'm not saying they can't because most people come to them in the castle. I don't know. I'm blabbering on, but Marion, you said they won't trust him. In UK, what Harry did is treason, and that's just not nice. He was our beloved prince. Good point. Harry and Meghan are so popular here. They will be fine. And funny that you say Team Harry and Team Diana because Leos are all about teams and fitness for fitness. So 4 and 4. I don't know if I said that right. Okay. Where in USA? Oh, yeah. You're asking where she's from. Jesse Fry, Prince Edward would become the Duke of Cornwall too. The duchy would go to him. It's a large yearly income that is now Prince William's from King Charles III. That's nice. That's very nice. They wanted to create impact and are taking it as a game of fire. It's their wives whom would do anything to Appa. It's funny how he's all into the Invictus games, and games are Leo, so you knew that was going to come into the mix. So maybe I should do another card. I love how these cards give us timing. It's really cool. When they wanted the USA to pay for security detail, they lost me. I don't know. Who knew that security detail was so expensive? Five of Wands, also tug of war. Ooh. Another plot twist. Yep. 5 days or weeks. Okay. 5 days or weeks. Something I'm going to say sooner than later. I would say 5 days before 5 weeks. Maybe both, you don't know. Lisa, you're saying this summer. Love Diana. Things would never have gotten this bad if she was still on the earth, on the earth plane. Writing a book trash his family was the end of Harry ever been welcome back. And I know, you sometimes think to yourself, what was he thinking? But they felt like they had to defend themselves, and that's why they did that. Like, I mean, how can people trash Spare when you saw in Spare how they took sound bites from people being racist? It was terrible. It showed all of these horrible things that the media was saying. Why doesn't anybody remember that from Spare? They can only talk about them complaining. Like, all of the racism was a lot worse than anything Meghan or Harry ever said in Spare. So that just, how do we just not remember that and only focus on them? Yeah. Harry can't truly go back home. England doesn't like them at all. I almost wonder if members of the media were pissed after Spare came out because they were called out on their behavior. And I don't even know if you would call it behavior, on their practices, and just so unfair what they did. Ugh. I'm glad they came out with Spare. I'm glad they kicked him in the nuts. And was treated so well in UK, so front page with good news. One problem or two is not to make a fire. Well, I mean, you're talking about behind the scenes. I'm talking about in the press, what they were calling her. Just the Conan O'Brien. I used to like Conan after I saw Spare, or before I saw. No, not see. No, that was the book. Before, was it the Oprah thing? I think it was. Yeah, it was the Oprah special, and so that's what I'm really talking about. But Spare added to it for me. Yes, exactly. I mean, how can anyone? I mean, all these people who hate them, you got to wonder. I mean, they don't see her viewpoint. And it's time that that changes. And it all comes down to the difference of opinions and, I think, how people see the world. He'll be deported this month. Where else can he go? Could he go to the Bahamas? That's where his uncle lived. He could live in that house. Jesse said, I have a very mixed family, and we always have the baby color conversation. Yes, you are correct. It won't be summer, 5 days or soon, generally speaking. I was just referring to wands as a fire element to summer. Okay. Thank you, Lisa James. Oh, you have to look at, wasn't it the Oprah special? Or it was something where Conan was saying something like she was, was it her? Was it Meghan? He was doing something, or no. You know what it was? Sorry, it was Jennifer Lopez. It was Halftime, that documentary, and he was talking about her like she was a maid or something. Ugh, sorry. So correction, but there still were a lot of things that Meghan and Harry brought up that were just absolutely disgusting. And I will be on their side all day long after I read that. I mean, I shouldn't say on their side because I like both sides, but yeah. Oh, that's nice, Jesse. Yeah, I know. Marion knows. Marion knows. Do not say those awful things. Like, it's amazing how much they got away, like the press got away with what they said. It's unbelievable. So I really think, if anything, they are pushing back. They're taking the press to court. They're they're shining a light on all the crap that these media types and tabloids are saying, and they are affecting change. Believe it or not, we've got to focus on that part. And I think they're doing a good job in fighting back, even though nobody likes them while the whole time that they're doing it. all the while they're doing it. I know, we were all so excited about that. It was the whole thing was surreal. I was super excited about that. You're welcome. Glad Harry won in court. The press can't be tapping. I know. I mean, how many years were they getting away with this stuff and saying terrible things about people of color? I mean, it's time now, guys. It's the institution of the media, they're the ones who need to go, you know? Princess Catherine is genuine. Well, I think about that too with her dad, and she's having some bad energy with the dad side of things. So I don't think it's any coincidence that both of her dads, she's not talking to either one of them. And I think that's probably I think that comes out in her chart. Megan really didn't know what she signed up for. She was thinking Disney princess, not working princess. I think it's probably true that she didn't know what she was doing, but I think all of us would expect that when we went into a place that people would respect us. And I don't think that, or I'm not getting the impression that she was treated the way that she was expecting. I think they kind of, I don't know. I feel like they tried to teach her. I feel like they treated her as if she was like a stepchild, but that's just in my mind. I really just want them all to get along. I hope they can all forgive and figure things out. Maybe this will bring them together, but I don't know. They're not. It's going to be a while. It'll be years. I think at least 5 years. So I don't hate Megan. I was truly rooting for her to be a success. All of England was too. Well, she would have been awesome. She would have been great, but she needed to come in, and so did Harry. There are things, it's never all bad. And you'll see that in your charts too. Sometimes you look at a year and it's like, oh, this looks like a year from hell. But there's always something that comes from it that's positive. And on a larger scale, I think that that could be true for the royal family, that they're going to suddenly start seeing some benefits. But what I would like to know truly is what Camilla is up to. What is she up to? Meghan was a mature woman in her 30s and was friends with Eugenie at Soho House. They have such different pronunciations for Eugenie at Soho House since 2012. She had time to learn about royal life. Yeah, probably. Knew what she was doing. Remember, she was in Hollywood. She knows how to get attention and was used to it. True, but here's the thing. What I think is that jealousy thing. She was very comfortable sitting on that panel with Prince William and Catherine in those beginning days. She spoke up. She was very confident, and it was the turning point. What's so weird is that when they went to go visit Africa, I think it was Africa or Hawaii or something, where they were, and this was in their documentary. Suddenly things changed when they were getting so much international press. And it was jealousy. Jealousy came in again, this way, this time through the press. Camilla and Charles, they all wanted their pet projects on the cover, and Harry and Meghan kept knocking them off. And so there was something that was boiling there, and it was a low boil, and they felt it. And it really wasn't their fault, I don't think. I mean, maybe they could have said, okay, guys, we'll take a step back. We're sorry. They could have gone that way, but there was such a demand for them, just like there was a demand for Diana. And it was making them all crazy. The royalty is raised with so much love. Catherine and MM had jealousy. They could not share the great love. Mediocre, manipulative woman. Catherine in the back. Is anyone asking how Prince William is okay? Generally, Meghan is jealously personified. Interesting. Oh, that's a good point. Oh, we should take a look at that. I mean, why don't we do it now? There we go. Yes, so you're calling it a fiasco. I mean, I think it was very successful for them, but what day was that? All right, so let me
It
do
was the Duke and Duchess of Sussex's first royal tour as a family, with Meghan and Archie joining Harry, who was returning to Southern Africa, a place that's always been close to his heart. A huge media pack had travelled with them on a tour that would end up defining their relationship with the press. The couple flew into Cape Town with a far from traditional start to their royal tour, arriving in the Nyanga township, known as the murder capital of South Africa.
Okay, hold on, sorry.
The celebrations were laid on by those trying to tackle growing levels of violence against women and children, an issue the Duke and Duchess jointly addressed.
Touching on what your president said last week, no man is born to cause harm to women. This is
Respect for the late President Nelson Mandela. His granddaughter Angelica told us their willingness to speak out against inequality is vital.
Darlene. So Charles is jealous of Markles. Ah, now I get it. You call him the Markles. I feel William has been the jealous of Harry. Interesting. Oh, there's just jealousy. Oh, I know. Hold on to your seat, Jesse. All right, there's the chart, but let's do a card real quick. And talking about Africa, what was the problem that Meghan and Harry had with the family because of that Africa trip? Okay. There it is. I'm shuffling. Okay, here we go. Oh, Three of Swords. Does this mean three people? They wanted to pop their balloon. Broken hearts. What do you think, you guys? Okay, now we're going to get to, so this is the card. Well, let's do this. Can you give us any clarification about more about their trip and what the problem was, how it started, everything, if it did? Give us more information about that Africa trip. Okay. King of Swords. Oh, reversed. Yeah. So this is a guy, somebody who was in power probably, and he felt like he didn't have power. Could that be the case? I've never heard William or Charles trash Harry. Well, they kind of just do it in my mind under the radar, and they use the palace. The palace does certain things. And also, they say that they're behind some of the media too. Drinking the Kool-Aid under the broken heart. Harry was beloved in Africa? Seems so. And all right, so, well, we've got King of Swords was reversed. So somebody who was really mean in power felt like he was out of power. The chart ruler is Jupiter. We've got the diplomats over here. I'm going to say that they're working. I'm going to say not only is this Harry's the groom, which would be Jupiter, Venus is the bride. This is a beautiful woman, which would be Meghan, and very successful too. Look at how part of fortune is there. But then you've got the T square here. Nope, no success. Can't do it. Sorry. You can do whatever you want up there, you know, dance and sing, but we are not having it. And what brought everybody down was Neptune, which would be the photos. And there's Black Moon Lilith in there, which is somebody evil, somebody who was very upset about those photos. It all happened. It was all the photos in the news. So, it kind of makes me feel a little bit more warm towards one party than another when I see this chart. And the Pluto, when you have a trine to the moon, and remember the moon and North Node is in the same thing is in Charles's chart representing his mom. And so crazy how that's kind of a signature in this chart. So it's sort of like this could be the famous mother. But it also means famous. And so with Neptune shows famous photos. Very difficult. And by the way, Saturn represents father. Pluto's right next to him, conjunct. So this is a jealous father. And who's sad. South Node is sad. He's very sad. He's the wealthy father. Look at how he's in that second house. And I mean, it is trine Mars. It could mean that he's angry, but it could have something to do with something that he was able to get an advantage from. There was some good that came of it for him. But all in all, he hated it. Hated it. Look at this. Jealous father. And this is beautiful Meghan dancing. Oh no, you're not going to do that. And it takes a lot of effort to go to these other countries and, meet these people and have a plan. And I mean, it's fun to travel with your husband and all, but still you are working, and look, it's all for naught. And I think a lot of us can probably relate to that. But why is Charles jealous? Because of attention. That's why. The attention should go on him. He should have the control of the news and the headlines. And that's always been the case, allegedly. BLM in fourth of father-in-laws. Oh, good one. Yeah. Was this just before the time Charles told Harry he wasn't a bank? Oh, this is well before. This was 2019. No. Oh, it was still honeymoon. This was the honeymoon phase. This was their first official visit. This was like they were getting ready, and now they were so excited. This was the exciting part of when they first started working with the royals, and the royals shut them down, period, because of that trip. That's in my mind. More like Diana. And interesting how you can see, dad's jealousy, and those photos just backfired. It was a big sabotage. So there you go. Anyway, well, it was great to see you guys. And I'll be back on Thursday at 7 Eastern. And we're going to talk about the Duchess. And I'm going to pull a few more charts for you. I'm going to get back to crime soon. So don't worry. I've got some ideas for the next few days. So stay tuned. Go on my Instagram for more information on upcoming shows. And also, if you're interested in a reading, you can go to my site, Astrology with Val, as me, and you can get a reading. There's a few readings there as well as classes. So I hope to see you there. And you're welcome, Toy. And thanks, Glow with the Flow, and everybody who came in, Angel D, Lisa, Christine. All right. Hey, I'm down with it. Long live everyone. And And hopefully they don't get too jealous. Thanks, Natalie. All right. Thanks. It's tech. All right. Have a good one, guys.